5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Well, everybody, it is the Ramble, and it goes until midnight Eastern Daylight Time, and we'll be talking with our citizens panel in just a bit, but first, all right, everybody, here we go. We got to make our call that we like to make every now and then here. Let me see here what we got. Let's see, and it should start ringing. If there's, there we go.
He barely made it, but I'm just glad George Lincoln Rockwell lived to see the summer of love. And how's your day going?
Ladies and gentlemen,
what have you participated in it?
The inimitable Stephen Pearl. Why did I suddenly get a call?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello?
Hello.
Yep, I'm here.
Yep, you're there. All the way from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas, you do to make money is you walk out of the plane and into the propeller. But I got to tell you.
It's funny. I was thinking of that same exact joke.
I know. Plenty, man.
That's
the
standard Shecky joke for Las Vegas.
Yes, that's it. But Shecky Schwartz.
Yeah, I actually have
fine comedian.
I actually have a friend named Shecky, actually. So.
Oh, really? Yeah, just the Shecky Green, and that's it.
Well, he worked for Letterman, and his name is Richard Scheckman. And
I know Rich Scheckman. Sure, he used to be Letterman, wasn't he?
Yeah. And when he started working with Letterman started calling him Shecky. So
Shecky, that's right. Okay.
So to this day, he's Shecky. He's Shecky to me. He's Shecky to everybody. You know.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. I will have to call him
Shecky,
the
folks,
next time I have contact with him on Facebook.
Shecky is usually the generic name for a comic you want to do a parody on comics with, you know.
Exactly. So I got to tell you, my wife just said she turned 30. I told her it must have been a U-turn. Boom, boom. But I got to tell you, a comedy of Shecky, ladies and gentlemen.
Does that come from Shecky Green?
He's the only person I ever met named Shecky, and I've met him, but, I've heard of him named Shecky. Yeah. And his name was Sheldon, and I guess when he was growing up in a nice Jewish neighborhood in Chicago, hey, Shecky, Sheldon, Shecky.
Yeah.
So it somehow turned into Shecky and stuck. So,
yeah.
And then it became like a very generic name for every hack comic you want to see. Not that Shecky Green is a hack, he's brilliant, but...
So how's everything going with generic comedy that you do?
Generic comedy? Well, I got it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Airports, fast foods. How about that Taylor Swift? Blah, blah, blah. Generic comedy is alive and well, but it's not here. There are many very funny comics there. I'm very happy to meet them.
A lot of comics retire to Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah, it's like Las Vegas to old comics is what Miami is to old Jews. You know, you go there to finish up and die. And luckily, I could go to both places. So, but I like it here in Las Vegas.
Well, I remember years ago, something wrong with my throat today. Years ago when Penn Jillette and Teller moved to Vegas. And I asked them why they did it, and they said, it's cheaper to live there. It's cheaper for us to have a warehouse there than in L.A.
Sure.
And there's a flight to everywhere from Las Vegas, so it's not like some towns you go to where you got to drive 75 miles to go to the closest airport, you know?
Exactly. No, the airport's right here, and they go everywhere, and the planes you can see coming in like every all the time, 24 hours a day. Planes are coming in and going out. So,
well, they found as their show grew, everything they ever did is in a warehouse. Okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes a lot of these illusions and stuff take up a great deal of space. Then they just found that the cost of a warehouse in, I think L.A. was where they were doing it. Was so much.
All the dollar.
Yeah.
Comes down to the damn dollar every time.
So they managed to get a really cheap warehouse in Vegas, and they said, well, why don't we live here? So they built homes there, and they've lived there, and I think they've been at the Rio for, maybe I'm wrong, but it may be upwards to 30 years.
Uh-huh.
I think.
Well, especially if you're as known as them, you get a residency out here, and you have it made, man. God, you go home every night. You do your shows here, and you're making good dough.
Yeah, but some people
as you said, it costs less to live here.
Some people get a residency, and then after a few years, when they're no longer popular, they lose that residency. They've never lost their residency. They've been at the Rio.
No.
I remember they were at the MGM for a short time. But then they went over to the Rio, which a lot of people said, why are you going to the Rio? Because then it was off the Strip, and if you were off the Strip, you were off the grid, so to speak.
Yeah.
And what they did is they drove people over to the Rio, and now that whole area supposedly is built up as well.
Yeah. That's a good thing about this town. They're not running out of land. It's in the middle of the desert, so they can always expand and build. It's great, which means more comedy clubs, which is very good for me. So, it's great. It's not like New York or San Francisco. There's just so much land that it's already been built on. Here, you can just spread out forever.
Well, let me ask you: how many comedy clubs are there in Vegas?
247. No, I never counted, but they're building new ones, and there's a whole bunch of them. And so far, I'm just working like 3 or 4 of them, and I'm doing all right. So right now I'm off this week, and I'm enjoying that too. So
are you making a living?
I never counted, but I'm paying the bills. So I'm very happy with that.
So you're making a living.
I'm making. You comfortable? Why I make a good living? So yeah, I'm making a living.
Yeah. Okay. I wonder about that because
I'm not rich, I'm not, but gigs are falling in my lap. I get them, and I'm working with really nice and very funny other comics, and there's a whole community out here. It's kind of like San Francisco was in the '80s, but and some young ones and all old ones.
Actually,
on stage here, which is wonderful. I don't know how many rooms are here, but there's a lot of them. So
it's a little bit different than San Francisco in the 70s or 80s rather in the 80s.
Yeah, well, there's no cocaine, and nobody wants to have a stroke. So,
no, but in the 80s,
there's like nice people. We hang out together. We see each other at the shows and after the shows, and it's a nice camaraderie type feeling. So it's a good camaraderie here.
But the thing is that with the people that were involved in the 80s in comedy in San Francisco, they were young people then. Now they're old people, and they moved to Vegas. They moved to Vegas.
Well, there's really no scene in San Francisco unless you're Bubbles. Unless you're Bubbles or Will Durst, there's really no scene there. So you got to move somewhere else. You got to go where the wheel of cheese has rolled.
Well,
it rolled to Las Vegas.
Will's very good at promoting himself. As I've said
he's
about,
great. He deserves all the success and all the work he gets.
As I said about Will, he gets up in the morning and looks at the calendar, and if there's a blank space on it,
exactly. There's a square there. I got to fill it. So,
yeah, exactly.
He's a good hustler.
Yeah,
very good promoter, very good hustler. I've never been rich in those areas. So
yeah, so I wondered about that. About is it that these are older comics who are trying to survive or living in Vegas, or are these a lot of them really good?
A lot of them do the cruise ships, and they play the road, and some of them stay here in town, but they're all making a decent living, and they're all real funny, and none of them seem to have lost the sparkle they had when their hair was dark. So, and there's some young comics too. I worked with a guy who was born in 1995, not long ago. That was scary. That made me feel like I'm ready for the Iron Lung. But and he was a Sam Kinison freak, and he wasn't alive when Sam was alive. And I said, "Wow, you heard about Sam Kinison like I heard about John Garfield."
Yeah.
So, but it's just, whoa, man, I'm old now, Jack. This guy was born in the '90s.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I quit doing cocaine before this guy was born.
Yeah. You probably still have a bindle somewhere from that time.
There probably is. Every time I sneeze, a car payment comes out. But I got to tell you.
Let's talk for a moment about the technology of drugs. Since you were
technology of drugs, electric snorters now available.
You were a drug user, right?
I like drugs. Yeah, I enjoyed them.
Yeah. What was your drug of choice?
it didn't really get in the way of my work because I didn't indulge when I had a gig or something like that. But afterwards was another story. But
yeah, but no, Mike.
Yeah, sure. I enjoyed the old RX lifestyle.
The white stuff.
The RX pharmacy.
Oh, pharmacy. No, but what I'm saying is, what was your drug of choice back in the day?
It's always been marijuana. I've always liked marijuana. Back then, I did some cocaine. It really wasn't my drug of choice, but I did some. But I've always liked weed, and in high school, I liked psychedelics, but that was a long time ago.
Well, somebody sent us and gave us a vape device, vaporizer.
Yeah.
Remember when vaporizers used to buy them so you could use Vicks Vapo Rub? And, but we're not that kind of vaporizer, folks, but a vape.
Yeah.
And
vaping, man.
With some pot, okay? And I have tried. I use it at night to put me to sleep, which is fine with me. It really does, it does the job. But somehow there are two things that bother me about vaping. It doesn't quite feel like marijuana.
Oh, what does it feel like?
Have you tried it?
I vape, sure. I've vaped here and I vape there. I vape all over this wonderful land of ours.
Does it feel to you like marijuana?
Sure. Feels good. Sometimes it feels stronger. I'm not
talking about the high. I'm talking about what you take in. Does it feel?
Oh, yeah. It's not like you're smoking pot. It's like you're inhaling steam. But as long as the effect is the same, I'm all for it.
Yeah, well, but the thing is that there are two things I miss. I miss kind of the taste of marijuana, okay? That's for one thing. And I miss the smell of marijuana.
Oh, I love this. That's why I do the old bowl, the old
No, there was such a comforting thing about the smell of marijuana, and unless people out there listening never did marijuana, you don't know what I'm talking about. But when you walked into a room and people were like passing a joint back and forth, and you were smelling pot, it smelled like sociality. Okay.
Exactly. It says a good feeling. It smelled warm.
It smelled warm. In fact, it's very funny. I had a girlfriend who, when we drive down the road, and all of a sudden we get skunk smell, because when you drive through Marin, you get a lot of skunk smell.
Yeah.
We would just go, skunk, because it reminded us.
Yeah, I know. It changes your whole perception on that odor.
yeah, because it smells like skunk.
I go, skunk is pretty good. Yeah, I remember the first time we saw skunk, we go, that's horrible. Then you get used to it, and then you smell skunk on it, and you go, if he's shitting seeds, I'm gonna find that guy.
Passing a joint back and forth had a certain social quality to it.
Exactly. It was a sharing thing. Very socialist.
And then you would pass it over to the next guy and say a word that is not in the English language dictionary. Ear.
Ear. E-A-R. Ear.
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 And you would smoke it, it's funny. I mean, to this day, I always tell the story. P.J. O'Rourke, you know who P.J. O'Rourke is.
Sure.
And I were at my apartment one night in San Francisco. Not San Francisco, New York. And we're sitting on the floor. I remember, I think I was had one of those beanbag things, I was lying against it, and I was passing it back and forth with PJ, and then he took a hit of it, and he looked at me, and he went, someday this is going to be legal. Well, he called it. It wasn't as fast, I think, as he thought it was going to be, but pretty much marijuana is legal now in the United States. The only thing the only people that really have
it should have been legal in 1970. It never should have been illegal.
Well, it's still not legal here in New York, only for medicinal purposes. Okay, and you would think New York would go, pot? Yeah, hell, smoke it.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, New York was the first city I remember that if you walked past a cop smoking pot, he never busted you, because if they did that to everybody that was smoking pot, there'd be too many cases in court. And judges in New York were known to throw cases.
The old court.
Judges were known to throw cases out of court by saying, "Don't bring me these kind of cases. This is nothing."
Yeah.
But yet New York has yet to legalize it. And I can't figure out why. Meanwhile, California, it's legal.
In New York, of all places, my God, it's a $5 ticket to shoot someone in the head there.
Yeah, exactly.
Legalize the weed.
Exactly. So, how about Las Vegas? How about Nevada? Is it legal in Nevada yet? Have they done that?
Oh, yeah, there are dispensaries all over the place. It's 24-hour dispensaries, which is great, but they charge a bit. So I get mine from a guy in a parking lot for a lot cheaper. I still do it bootleggy style. I went to the dispensaries for a while, then I discovered another source, a better for more, more amount. So that's what I do now.
But in order to use the dispensary, you have to have a note from a doctor, right?
Nope, I just have a California license. I could get a Nevada card. I had a California one for years, and
wait a minute.
I could get one, but then I used my license. The California driver's license got me in the place. So okay, I'm in. Give me this, and
If you say dispensaries, wait a minute. You're saying dispensaries. That seems to indicate you have to have a medical condition in order to buy.
Well, they are. I don't know what you call. Okay, I'll call it the pot store. How's that? Sam Drugger's pot store.
Oh, okay, all right. In other words, what I'm asking is,
they're all over. I can go 2 blocks from my house. And there's like 4 of them.
In Nevada, is it legal then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Very legal.
No, okay.
This town has grown up. The young people took it over. So young people meaning people my age and younger.
Well, I think it's wonderful. From that.
Oh, it is.
From that
day
that
it's a very
I was
progressive town. It used to be not long ago. You get 50 years and they found you with a seed in this town.
Oh.
But now it's the new people have taken over and it's grown up.
When I was growing up, there was a major what can we call it? A controversy, or oh my God, how could he do it? Moment in which they arrested Robert Mitchum for smoking pot.
That's in the 40s, 1948, I believe.
Yeah, something like that. And I was just a little kid at the time. I went, "Oh, he's a drug user. Oh, that's horrible." They were vilifying him. Arrested for pot because pot had been given this ugly reputation by a government functionary by the name of Harry J. Anslinger. He was a
piece of shit. Oh, he did the devil's work. I hate that bastard.
He wanted a job really bad, one that would last him a lifetime. And he, in about 1935, started planting articles in newspapers about people jumping out of buildings from smoking pot. I mean, up until then, it was something he found basically in Harlem. Okay, it was a ghetto drug. And he just went after it. He turned it into something horrible and all these lies were planted in papers. And they illegalized marijuana nationwide. And he remained the head of the Enforcement Bureau for that for years. And, they never passed. This is interesting.
Evil bastard.
They never passed a law federally against marijuana, against possessing marijuana. They made a law against having marijuana and not have purchased a tax stamp. In other words, if you had marijuana, you could have it federally if you bought a tax stamp from the government. You know how much a tax stamp in those days cost for marijuana?
How much?
$30,000.
Hello, I couldn't even make that now.
So they
back in the 30s.
They made it
like $1 zillion back then.
They made it absolutely impossible. So when they arrested you, they didn't charge you with a possession of marijuana or possession of a drug. They charged you with a tax violation.
That's right. Oh,
okay.
God.
And he presided over that for years and years and years and years and years. In fact, he's the guy that went to the UN and had the UN pass a resolution against marijuana. And on his deathbed, this piece of shit, on his deathbed, supposedly was asked by somebody, "Did you really think marijuana was dangerous?" He says, "No, it gave me a job."
Oh, Lord. Oh, I hope he's so far down in hell he's looking up Hitler's asshole.
Now, in those...
Fuck you, Anslinger. Fuck your kids. Fuck your wife.
In those days, folks, people went to prison for like 10 years for possession of marijuana.
Sure.
Sure,
and that's a good way to arrest a lot of black people and Mexicans, too.
It was racially motivated.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were white, you could afford to, get your marijuana in some... through some guy or something and smoke it in your home, and you'd never get busted. But if you were black or, racial...
Oh, you go away for a long time.
You go away for a long time.
If you're Robert Mitchum, you go to the work farm for 30 days.
Well, he only did...
You made an example of.
He did like 30 days, maybe 3 months, something like that,
Yeah.
And he came out and all was forgiven. He was back in movies and everything, so...
That's right, yeah. He was too handsome with those sleepy eyes of his.
Yeah. And beef, what is it for? Remember the commercials he did? Yeah. Beef.
Yep.
Yeah. But, Harry J. Anslinger, big piece of shit, so...
Oh, he's tofu. He was worse than J. Edgar Hoover, or at least on that level.
And I thought it was kind of interesting that it's become very legal. And it never... You know what never happened? Everybody thought that the tobacco companies were going to get into marijuana and just shove everybody out. But not one tobacco company has gotten into marijuana.
I'm very surprised over that, yeah.
Not that I know of. I mean, there may be some that have invested in it or whatever, but, as for producing it, no. In fact, years ago, they came out. Remember there was a product, and I can't remember the name of it, but it came with loose tobacco, these paper tubes, and a rolling device.
I remember those. They called Laredo cigarettes.
That's right, Laredo.
Something like that. Laredo.
And they said
just used to roll pot with them and get these like Chesterfield-looking joints.
Exactly. Well, they at that time everybody was saying this is the tobacco companies getting ready for marijuana.
Yeah.
Because most people don't know how to roll a joint. My wife has a friend come over and roll her joints for her, even though I'm sitting next to her and I can still roll a pretty good joint.
Yep.
Although I used to do a 2-paper joint.
I would do those too, but I can roll them good.
But if I got those,
roll in the dark, I'm going to the Fillmore East.
But then Easy Wider came along, and that was just the right amount. And it's a very simple thing.
That was heaven for us 2-paper guys.
You take the pot and you sprinkle it in the center of the paper. And then you take what I always tell people to do is lick your fingers, okay, and then grab and start rolling. And if your fingers are a little wet, they'll give you a nice roll, and you get a nice dovetail joint.
There you go.
I could do it. She never asked me to do it. She has her friend do it for her. And her friend does these
some people can master it, some people can't.
These really skinny joints, which I guess. Today you would do skinny joints because pot is too expensive. In the old days, you used to get that Jamaican shit that was $1 for a pound, and you'd make these big you ever see those joints they do in Jamaica? Those giant
blunt. Yes, I got it rolled in a corn husk. It's so big.
Giant spleefs. Yeah.
Oh, I love the giant spleefs.
But anyway, so I just find that vaping it takes a little bit of the socialization out of it. It just doesn't have the same feel. It's too mechanical. I kind of like the taste of pot, and then I like the fact that it made me cough sometimes. I can't believe that vaping isn't bad for your lungs. There's got to be something wrong with it. They're starting to see there are some problems with it. Medically.
Yeah, it's new. They'll find out. Everything's bad for you.
Well, it's not.
Living is bad for you. So what the hell? Vape, live, enjoy.
It's not the tobacco or the pot that's the problem. The problem is the vaping, the actual vape. In other words, if you were to vape without anything in there or whatever, you would probably still, it's supposedly not good for your lungs. That's what I hear. But then again, I
don't vape that much. I smoke pot the old-fashioned way in a pipe. So,
they keep telling me, if you, I started to think about this. I'm 79. I'm going to be 80 soon. How much longer do I have to live? Well, I could live another 20 years, but maybe now is a good time to take up smoking.
Cigarettes? Oh, Lord, I'll never do that again.
Or because I have nothing to do with my days, maybe it's a good time to start doing heroin.
Heroin is good. Yeah, what the hell, man? If you OD, you're probably not that far from PEP anyway, so what the hell? Go with a smile on your face.
That stuff will if you smoke, that'll kill you. Yeah, how long is that going to take? About 20 years.
Exactly.
Oh, well, I got news for you.
I think you should get a few tattoos, too.
You know, it's kind of like prostate. I may have, the doctor told me I may have prostate cancer, but don't worry, it's the good kind.
It's the good kind of cancer.
It grows at your age. It grows very slowly, and something else will get you first. Well, that's the way I feel about if I started smoking tomorrow. The only reason I'm not going to smoke tomorrow is my wife would throw me out of the house. You know,
no, you don't want that, yeah,
because she can't stand it. Well, listen, Stephen Pearl. Gosh, I always enjoy talking with you, especially about things which are close to your heart, like marijuana.
Marijuana, good for you.
Yeah.
Marijuana, good music, and Lipton chunky clam chowder soup. Very good thing.
If anybody in our audience is going to Vegas, are you going to be playing somewhere in Vegas soon?
Yeah. Let's see. Where's the old calendar here? I have a calendar with cats on it, little kitty cats. Let's see. Let's go to August. I don't know how much in August. September seems to be picking up here. Early August was good. Let me see. As I go through here, there's July. Whoops, hold on, sorry.
Wait a minute. September would be what you're looking for.
That's what I'm looking for. Here it is, right after August and right before October. I'll be at Bonkers at the Rampart Casino on September 5th. That's a Thursday. Then I'm going to be in Lake Havasu at Gallagher's on September 13th. Then from September 17th all the way to the 28th, not counting Sunday and Monday, the 22nd, 23rd, I will be at the Eclipse Theater, a club called Tickle Me, on the third floor of the Eclipse Theater.
Yeah, that
calendar. I got nothing after that.
That calendar's getting to look a little bit like Durst's. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
I don't have to leave town. That's the best part.
It's the fabulous Stephen Pearl. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, elephants and mandrills. I exclude nobody. Nice to talk to you.
5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Thank you very much to Stephen Pearl, and we appreciate his participation in our show every couple of weeks, and it's pretty good. Okay, all right, let me see here. Let me give myself some volume here so that I know that I'm getting out there, and then let me open up the Skype lines here. Another futile attempt at being in show business, and there we go. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. You know, how am I feeling today? My feet are killing me. I've got this, you know, this neuropathy, and it makes my feet hurt, and I'm getting grouchy over it. But don't worry about me. Just call, make me feel happy, make me feel wanted. You know, you know what's strange? It's only like 72 degrees, but it's humid as hell. We don't understand it, you know? It's not right. Anyway, is somebody going to call us tonight? Gonna give us a ringy dingy? That would be really nice if you did. You can go over to gabnet.net, and over there on the right-hand side of the page will tell you all the different ways you can call this program and be part of it. And we welcome all new people. We'd love to have you here. So, you know, it's the phone number's down at the bottom. If all you want to do is call, there's the Skype number. There's even a button that you can click on that will actually dial your Skype. If your Skype is on, it will dial your Skype to us, and then we pick up the line and we talk to you. We're not going to be on Thursday and Friday because it is the Labor Day weekend, and I decided to give everybody 2 days off. It was also because I was going to go out to Fire Island, but we're not now because girlfriend has to go see a doctor or something on Friday. So it's a weekend that we're not doing anything. So if anybody wants us to come see them, let me know. Anyway, is anybody going to call tonight? What is this? Are we on? Are we going out? I can see we're going out there. Oh, well, I'll just sit here and wait. So either I have to wait or, is my face red here? Do I have rosacea? Anyway, usually I don't have to wait. Usually there's at least one person calling. At least Phil is calling or somebody like that. But apparently I may have a problem here. Oh, there we go. Well, there's Jeff. Okay, here comes Jeff. All right. Okay, so we got Jeff. Skip tutorial. Why do they always want to show me a tutorial? Wait a minute. Here comes Phil Meyer. Let me see here. Let me see here. Oh God! What? Turn your audio down there, Jeff. Yeah, you got that audio thing going there. Yeah, okay, it's better now. Okay, let me see here. Let me get Jeff in here. Okay, and I guess I can go to this. Okay, there we go.
I'm hearing twice.
Huh? I don't know. You've got something on there where you're listening to the playback.
I'm gonna turn it off. Come back. I'll come right back.
Oh, okay.
Just turn off your Safari or your browser. That's all you got to do.
It's your browser. Do you have a browser up? Do you have a browser? Jeff, can you hear me?
Yeah. I think I'm on.
Yeah, it's usually best just to contact through Skype.
That's what I usually do.
Oh,
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, God, there we go. You pushed the wrong button, Jeff.
Yeah, you're sharing screen.
Now, how does he get out of that?
I think he presses it again.
No.
Yeah, he found something share screen.
Yeah. Where's the share screen thing? Where does he turn that?
Yeah. Well, he gave up. He'll come back.
He quit Skype.
Don't get him nervous.
Yeah. Well, he does that all the time, though. He should know by now not to hit that button.
Yeah, but I mean, he's used to putting a crank in his front bumper to get his car to start. So
here we come. Here he comes.
Give
now.
him a break.
Okay. Hello, Jeff. You there? Okay, good. There he is. There he is. Okay. Yeah. Whatever you do, Jeff, do not hit.
Oh, the share screen comes up on Skype.
Yeah, but you see it. You see at the bottom. There's a double screen kind of logo thing. You got a little thing.
It's near a heart and some other stuff.
Yeah, I don't.
Where it says share screen, you hit that. Do not hit that. Okay, otherwise we get whatever's on your screen. The audience didn't see it here because that's not the screen I'm showing them, but everybody else would, And it'd be nice to share your screen if there was something we wanted to share, but there isn't.
Yeah.
So my feet are aching tonight. Something horrible.
Yeah. You have neuropathy in the feet?
Yeah, the neuropathy.
I'll show you what I got.
What'd you get?
It works pretty good.
You have neuropathy?
It's this. Yeah, well, I'm a diabetic, and I get a little bit. So here, this little ball, it's called a Rubs, RUBZ, and I got it from Amazon.
Yeah.
And I just put it on the floor, and I run my foot over it.
Yeah.
It was $6, I think, from Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Let me see this.
My golf ball.
That's free. Anyway, you just go out to any golf course and just look around, and you'll find them.
Does it have a big gold T on it?
No, but
for the Trump course that
I
you
didn't
stole
stop
from?
to think about it, but that's what I should be doing. I forgot this little thing.
Yeah. Well, this thing has
this.
little nubs on it. See that?
What's it called?
Really, huh?
What's it called? Rubs?
Yeah, RUBZ, and I got it on Amazon for $6, and it's very effective.
Let me see here. Rubs.
RUBZ.
RUBZ. Foot massage ball. Okay, there we go. And there is how much are they? Oh, six.
It was $6 when I bought it.
$6.95. Oh, here
Close enough.
Here it is, but none of them are through Amazon or this Prime free. But there's a whole bunch of them. I don't want that. Where do I?
Yeah.
This is $6.19, right? And how long will it take to get to me? Buy now with one click. I'll get it Thursday, September 12th. Wednesday.
You'll like this. It's very effective. And I also use it on my thumb.
It's going to take me 6 to 10 days to get that piece of shit.
Mine came very quickly.
Well,
I use it on the thumb, and I use it on the bottom of the foot. and it's very effective. I think a lot more than a smooth golf ball.
Here's a trigger point, Moby Point textured massage ball with targeted foot pain relief. It's 2 inches, and it's $5.99. Hot dog.
I like this.
Well, I don't care if you like that
this
one. I'm getting this one because it's coming faster. Just like I like my women.
Just like your women, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I tell you, this Rubs is it's very good. It's the right weight, you know. It's got a.
Well, this thing looks to be the same thing except ripoff. So. You know, you know what? This golf ball does it. I forgot about this golf. I'm glad you reminded me because I forgot about this golf ball, and that probably will help with the my neuropathy.
Yeah. Wait till you get the one with the the little nibs on it.
Do you have neuropathy?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I have a lot of it.
And no, this has been pretty handy.
Yeah, so I'm doing it now. See?
Ah.
There you go.
Yeah.
If you're doing it now, how come your hand is moving back and forth?
What?
Right? Yeah, right. Yeah, that one, right down by the crotch.
Yeah. Oh, hey, look who's here! Look who's here! Look who's here! He hasn't been on for about a week, and we love it when he's on. More than about a week. It's lovely and attractive.
Were you here last night?
Well, you were here last night, weren't you, Charlie?
Yeah, I was here last night.
Yeah, but you weren't here last week because you had somebody visiting you, right?
Yeah, my brother was in town from Chicago visiting.
Yeah. Okay.
We went to ball games and stuff, so.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, high five, man. My life is really good today. Something really good happened.
Win the lottery?
No, Kirsten Gillibrand left the race.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I was. I know you don't like her, but I think she's hot.
Really?
Yeah, she's hot.
Yeah, I like that type.
You like that type?
Goyish,
Yeah, well.
I didn't like what she did to Al Franken, so.
I really like that. That was.
No, but you see, the thing is that I think that the whole Al Franken thing is what kind of made her not do too well in the in the primary race, and I think there were just a lot of people really pissed off at her, and she couldn't get the money, basically, and that's it's all about the Benjamins, as somebody liked to say.
And she probably did the thing to Al Franken just to be able to get some notoriety and run.
Yeah.
I don't think Al didn't give her the money.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see here. Here's look, we got Ray. He's out walking.
Hello.
He always does his part of the show remote, as we used to say in the business.
Yes.
Yeah.
I should go to Safeway again and do like on the street interview stuff like we did that other time.
Yeah. Anyway,
We could plan it
there
sometime.
we go. Okay. Good to see you. Good to see you. We were talking about Kirsten Gillibrand.
Nice to see you.
Kirsten
Oh
Gillibrand.
God, I can't stand her.
Well, she left the she's not a candidate anymore.
Good.
She quit. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that nobody was giving her any money because of what she did to Al Franken. I think it really came home to roost.
And she wouldn't take any responsibility for it.
Right.
And she said it's all his fault. He didn't have to resign. Blah blah blah. But she put so much pressure on him, and she got all the senators to do the same, and he had to resign. He had no choice.
I think there are some senators who've actually said they feel bad that they kind of jumped in on that thing. Yeah.
Well, I think that was the nail in her coffin once they said that.
Yeah, well, no question about it. I mean, I think that's the reason why she just couldn't raise the funds needed to go out and mount a formidable campaign. Now, I wonder how many more are going to start dropping out. Because
she's one of those, what are you, social justice warriors, or whatever you call them.
Yeah.
Did Kirsten Gillibrand have enough to be on the stage with the Gang of 10?
No.
Between no. So she didn't make the stage.
She didn't make the stage. She could have made it. She could have made the stage of 12, which would I think have forced the network, whoever's doing it, into doing it. Let me put the light on and back of me. What was I saying?
She could have made 12, and that would have forced the network
to do 2 nights. Yeah. So,
but she was short on the number of the donations. She had less than 130,000 individual donations.
Wow, pretty bad, pretty bad. But
So wasn't there a specific numbers if you didn't have 2% or something
Yeah,
like that?
plus 135,000 you had to have plus the 2%. It'd be at least 2% and 2 polls.
And so many individual donors.
I'll tell you something. I think I don't know who's making up those rules. It may be the Democratic Party, but in the old days, who did the debates? It was
the League of Women Voters.
Yeah, and where are they now? They're not doing it anymore. When they did it,
got kind of kicked out.
Yeah, well, it was a little fairer back when they did it.
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
and what happened to her? How about our friend Chelsea Gabbard? How's she doing?
No, she didn't make the cut.
Ah, damn it!
And I would like that because now I'm not going to watch the debates because I make it a policy never to watch a debate I can't masturbate to. So.
Well, there's always Bernie Sanders for you.
Oh, gross.
God, I'm glad I don't have a show on Sirius XM. Well, no, I'm not glad, but I'm kind of glad I don't have that. I'm glad I'm not on a regular radio station because if I said any of this stuff, the Me Too people would be all over my ass.
Of course.
Well, you're lucky you don't have any woman demographics calling into the show and listeners.
To any appreciable extent. Well, I have, it's odd, though. I do have a lot of females who write on my page, who write on my Facebook page. I guess they just don't feel comfortable in this company. Too much testosterone here.
Yeah.
This show's gonna get prostate cancer. What?
My wife doesn't. She feels real uncomfortable. Like it's just too male in here.
Well, we would like it to be more female.
Yeah.
So writing on your wall is similar to writing on a bathroom wall.
No.
Yeah.
Don't date Alex.
But I'm not. What the hell?
Well, maybe if Marjorie wanted to come on during this time, but she doesn't want to, right? Because she has to go to sleep.
She just doesn't even want to come on the show anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does she still listen to it at work?
Yes, she does.
Well, that's good.
Although this week not as much because there's tennis.
And it's hard to compete with that.
I feel like I'm a tennis widow. I mean, it's like I can't. She can't do anything in moderation. I will watch a few matches that I want to watch, and I don't have to watch every match. No, she has to watch every fucking match.
Like me in football.
It's like you in football. Huh?
Do you think it's because she likes to see balls hit by a racket?
I don't know.
Whose balls?
By the way, I was watching Serena play. Anybody ever?
She's very powerful.
Get into R. Crumb?
No.
He had a character in his cartoons called Angel Food McSpade.
Oh God!
Because it seems that R. Crumb really had the hots for big, large black women. So he had this one character he made up called Angel Food McSpade with this huge ass, big thighs, whatever.
Like big butts.
And I hate to say this, but every time I see her playing tennis, it's like Angel Food McSpade playing tennis. She is just an Amazon, that woman.
She's awesome. I love.
Oh, I mean, she's amazing.
I think she's freaking.
She's all muscle.
But the fact that she can haul that carcass out on a tennis court and have that much athleticism is wonderful.
It's all power.
Yeah.
And
It's
she
just
wins
all
it,
power.
doesn't she?
It's not only her; it's her sister too.
Yeah, well, her sister not so much.
Great.
Her sister not so much anymore. Her sister did better than Serena did for a while, but then she got sick, and she had to kind of get out for a while, and then she came back in. And when you do that, you never quite get back to where you were. you know. But when the two of them were playing tennis, they could neither of them could be beaten, you know.
For some
You know,
reason,
in the
tennis too, comebacks never work. I don't know why. They just never work.
Really?
Comebacks.
I
I don't know.
Who were those great tennis players of the 70s? It was the blonde-haired girl. She married
Yeah.
Bruce
Chris Evert?
or Chris Evert.
Chris Everett, Lola. Chris Everett, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
And-
What made me feel real good was when I was doing a show at Sirius XM. I'm doing my show,
Tracy.
and all of a sudden the door opens, and it was during a break, and somebody, I can't remember, somebody who was a producer there said, by the way, somebody wants to meet you because they knew, you know, they here at Sirius and they wanted to meet you. And I said, okay, yeah, this is Martina Navratilova.
Oh boy.
Wow.
And Martina was a fan of mine, so she came and sat down on the show for a while, and she just told me how much she
I
loved.
love her.
She loved my political opinions and all of that, you know.
She's great. She's
Yes,
great.
I know,
love that
Phil. It's because it reminded her of being a communist. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe she was an oligarch. You know, she had a lot of money. You know,
But
she was just trying to.
but turn your microphone off when you're not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we get a lot of.
Wind or something.
Yeah, and wind and stuff. Yeah, so I got to for a short time get to know Martina Navratilova because she was a fan. I was amazed. It made me feel so good.
There was that Bobby Riggs and another
Billie Jean
Billie Jean King.
Yeah, Billie Jean King. That was good publicity.
Yeah.
Well, it was you know, I'm wondering if he was that much of a. Somebody said it's Robert Crumb, not Art. Did I say Art Crumb? No.
I don't know. Yeah,
I
probably.
said no. I didn't say Art.
No,
Crumb.
Alex, you
You
said R.
I said R. Crumb.
Which is what he
Forbin.
was.
Yeah, because he uses his initial.
Corbin. Yes, and that is his name was R. Crumb. That was the name he used, not Robert Crumb. Okay, so fuck you. Oh, Matt Crash wrote that. So fuck you, Matt. Isn't it wonderful when I can tell my audience to go fuck themselves? That's why I have three people that are listening. You know.
I do it all the time.
Really? Yeah. Yeah.
To tell your audience.
You can fuck yourself, Phil?
Yes.
Can you do that, Phil? Cool.
Yes, I can.
Lucky guy.
Boy, if I
Lucky
could do
man.
that,
And I'm the only one that can.
Oops. You know, the only trouble with this ball and the new ball that you had me buy may solve the problem.
Did you get the rubs or did you get some other kind of thing?
Well, no, I got a different one, but it looks just like the rubs. It just is. It's a different color and it has a different name, and it's cheaper, and it's going to get here like Friday.
So you got rub one off.
It was $1 off, so it was rub one off. Yeah, but anyway, the trouble with the golf ball. I mean, the golf ball is a great idea because my physical therapist gave it to me to use. Because I told him I was having problems with my feet because of neuropathy, and he said, "Here, do this." And I had completely forgotten about it till you mentioned it, Phil. But the trouble with the golf ball is I have to do it on a towel, and then it kind of gets away from me every now and then. Yours probably doesn't get away from me because it's rubber.
Yeah.
And then
And the little prickly things that are on it.
yeah, the problem with this also is that after I'm through using it, I have an imprint that says Titleist on the bottom of my foot. So, you know.
Yeah.
It's, but anyway, we're taking 2 nights off this week, by the way. I figured, it's Labor Day. I was going to go away, but now I'm not. So I'm
Where do
stuck.
you normally go for Labor Day?
Well, no, we were supposed to go out to Fire Island, but Marjorie has to see a doctor on Friday, and and she wants to leave on Sunday. So if we went out Saturday, we'd only spend 1 day there, and that's,
That might be enough.
Well, no, it's no easy task to get out there. If it were just that you waved your hand and you were in Fire Island, that's fine. But you've got to take about an hour and a half drive of one sort or another, whether it's by train or whether it's by bus or whether it's by whatever means to get out to the ferry. And then you got to wait for the ferry, and then the ferry takes another 45 minutes to get out to the place where we go. And, it's just not an easy trip. So if you're going to go there, you don't want to go there for one day. It's not, hey, we'll take a day trip over to Fire Island. No, it's not that. You want to spend a couple of days out there.
Where else could you go? Did you go to Atlantic City or any of those kinds of things, or the shore?
We have no place to go. Maybe I should just rent a car and we should just.
Take a drive. No,
but it's Labor Day weekend. Maybe I'll do it some other weekend.
Yeah.
But anyway, so and then I'm thinking about coming out to California, but I don't have any place to stay. So, well, I could stay with my business manager, but he's over in Marin. Gee, I wonder, is there any place I could stay?
In this place, I have a pullout, in the living room. So you probably wouldn't want that. This is only a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
And
but
there's a bed there.
That's okay.
It pulls out.
Maybe I could stay with Buddy Love. Because I'm putting him up.
Reciprocal. Right.
Yeah. So anyway, let's see here. What else is happening? Oh, I got something for you. This is a couple things, a couple little items here. Thank you, Alec. Oh, I want to talk to you about this. This is a thank you. I ordered a part today. I did a wash today, and then I went to do a drying, and the dryer door wouldn't close. And the reason it wouldn't close is because the lint trap, which has kind of a mesh, what's the word? Mesh. Filter on the bottom of it, because it was so old, it's now all buckled and everything. So I had to kind of reshape it to get the filter in there, the lint filter in there, and that didn't work. So let me see here. I got to put.
I'm very impressed. You've gone from ice makers to washing machines.
Well, I did. I told you my ice maker isn't working anymore.
No, you didn't.
I had it working beautifully. It was making the most beautiful ice cubes. Hi, Patrick. How are you? Let me just bring Patrick into the group. It was making beautiful ice cubes, and unlike it had ever made ice cubes before. Sometimes it made them with like hollow in the center and just terrible ice. All right, but I replaced the ice maker. Somehow the water started coming down again and filling up the thing, and it was making beautiful, wonderful ice cubes. And I was so proud of myself, and life was good again, and all of a sudden, the water stopped coming. And it hasn't come back since, and I've tried everything to get it going, and I can't get it going. So, unless it starts happening, the water starts coming down again, I'm through with my ice maker. But anyway.
Turn off the connection to the ice maker, so if it starts coming down and you're not prepared for it, you don't have a flood.
No, it won't come down unless it won't come down. Okay, it won't do that. Yeah, because something has to trigger it. And the thing is, if it doesn't have water coming down into the ice trays get very, very hot.
Really?
Because that's how the ice trays let go of the ice. They heat up a little bit, and then the thing comes around and pushes the ice out. Then more water comes in. Well, if no water comes in, that heating element keeps getting hot. So I have to put water in it using a baster, turkey baster, and then I just turn the whole thing off. But it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. I felt really bad about it. I was everybody come by, I'd show them how I'd fix the ice maker. Anyway. So anyway,
did you try to unplug it and replug it?
Yeah, I've tried all that. I've tried thinking maybe that it was iced up there. So I take a screwdriver and I heat it over the oven, the flame on the oven, get it good and hot, and then put it up in there to kind of melt anything that might be up there. Nah, that didn't do it either. So I've given up. Okay. But I don't want to use up the ice that's in there because it looks so nice. And eventually it's all going to congeal in one block of ice, if I don't use it. So I probably should start using it.
Do you have a good sized countertop?
I will get back to this lint trap in a second, which is, stay tuned, folks, because,
This is the most important.
this is the best part of the program is the lint trap. What, Phil?
Well, if you have enough counter space, there's a thing you can buy. It's a small box, and it makes ice. And
There's also
you just lift the cup.
also a thing I have, and it's a tray, and you put water in it, and then you stick it in the refrigerator.
Yeah, that works too. But this is more convenient. This makes the cubes that are similar to what you really enjoy.
Well,
But I'm dying to hear about the lint trap. So please,
folks, I know you've been sticking around. I know all of you out there had better things to do because the Labor Day weekend's coming up, but you wanted to stick around to find out about my lint trap. So the lint trap is like the mesh is getting mangled, and it was getting hard to close the door of the dryer because it would hit the lint trap, which wasn't exactly seating right, and then I'd have to kind of move that webbing or net or whatever so that it was out of the way. And I just said, to hell with it, I'm going to buy one online. Okay, now you know what it is, folks. It's a little plastic thing about this wide, and it's got mesh on the bottom. And so I went online. First I went to Amazon, and I just looked at the prices, and I went, this has got to be ridiculous. So I went elsewhere to look for it, like Parts Discount, where I finally bought it. How much do you think a lint trap like that costs? I thought, hey, be $6, $7,
Yeah,
right? Piece of
$10.
plastic with some
$25.
$29.95.
I got it.
Wow.
$29.95. I've had cheaper copays.
Yeah.
Because they know you have to have it.
You have to have it.
You have to have it. And I looked elsewhere to see if I could buy it cheaper. I found later a place that I could have gotten it for $25. So, of course, I was beating myself like crazy, saying I could have saved $4, because a Jew does not like to lose $4, okay?
It
But
probably cost them 50 cents to make.
this thing has got to cost at no more than 50 cents to make.
how much is a new dryer?
I know, that's
It's
what
not that much more.
The new dryer's only $25. What you do is you buy the dryer and then you take the lint trap and exchange it. But I had to find the right lint trap too. I went to Lint Traps or Us. So $29.95 plus tax, which brings it up to, well, I guess it doesn't.
In New York, $40.
Oh, shipping is free.
Lovely.
Woohoo!
There it is. Parts Discount. Got
I hope
that.
it fits.
Huh?
I hope it
Oh,
fits.
it'll fit. It's the
Yeah.
exact part. Yeah. No, I checked the model number, and then I put that into Google, and then I said lint trap, and then it showed me all the people that were selling lint traps there. And I also put it into Amazon. I would think Amazon would be the cheapest, wouldn't you?
Yeah, usually.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, but no. Not true, So anyway, boy, it is hot in here, and the air conditioner's on. What the hell? Here,
When you were a kid,
Hey, Alex,
did you ever...
I was reading this article about this guy. He would go to Costco, and every time he needed printer cartridges, he would just buy a new printer because
yes, exactly.
it was cheaper,
Yeah.
and he had a whole garage full of printers.
Yeah.
I bought my printer for $109. If I wanted to replace that ink at Costco, it would cost me something like it wouldn't cost me that much, but it would get to it was
Their
They
starter.
have a cartridge in the printer that the starter cartridge. So
the
Yeah,
starter
and it makes up
cartridge
for it.
on mine lasted forever.
yeah, so you get a new printer.
So then I
Same
got
price or
well.
cheaper.
Then I got
Yeah.
I got more ink because it started running out. Finally, I got more ink, and I bought cheap ink. Didn't buy the HP ink or the who was it? Who made mine? What is that? What is this? This is I think this is a. I can't even read it from here. Yeah, it's an HP. Yeah, it's an HP. So I went and I bought the cheap ones. You know, because every time I've ever bought cheap ink, I can't tell the difference. You know, they just take old cartridges and refill them with ink, right? So I order them, and I bought these ones a long time ago, just so in case when I finally needed them, because I figured those cartridges that came with it would run out really fast, but they didn't run out really fast. Okay. And so I then put the new one, those in, and it wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. So then I went back to Amazon to see what I could buy, and then they say these ones will work with the HP. Okay? And so I sent for the new ones, and the new ones did work with the HP, except every time I bring up the program to look and see how much space I've got on the ink cartridges, there's an exclamation mark or something that said, "This is not an official HP ink cartridge." Well, fuck you. So it isn't.
Somebody on the show the other night was talking about a printer that you put ink in it, and it was you get like a couple of years worth of ink, and it's a bottle of ink that you squeeze into it. I don't remember what brand. It might have been Kevin that was talking about it. I looked it up.
Yeah, these companies, like this thing was like $35 for the ink instead of, what was it going to cost me for all the ink that I needed for this thing? I think $300. No, it was like, even at Costco, it came out to something like $80, $90. You know, so fuck you. I'm going to get the $35, maybe the ink doesn't look that good, but I don't give a shit. You know? Yes, Charlie.
How many pages do you print a month? So if you put a ream of paper in your printer, how long would it be
I
refill?
don't print that much. Charlie.
Yeah, I tried to do that on my Canon printer. I bought that for $60 5-6 years ago. But every 6 months, I have to buy $70 worth of ink to print with.
Yeah. Well,
And the only reason I don't do what Bill's friend did is because I don't have any space to store all the printers. So
yeah, but you know something?
just shell out
Just
$70.
throw it in the fucking garbage. Ray, would you turn off your microphone?
He did.
Oh, you did. Okay.
He did.
Anyway, where was I? Oh, so I just, you know, I mean, what they are is it's the razor and razor blade concept. You know, that we will sell you the razor for next to nothing. It comes in a blister pack with some blades, right?
Yeah.
And then we will charge you. I mean, the blades for my razor, for like maybe 10 of them or 15 of them, I don't know, is like $35. And those are the cheaper blades. You know, I mean, but they always went with that whole theory of, you know, you buy, we give you the razor and we charge you like a lot of money for the blades.
Yep.
And you know, when they charge, like, you know, we'll say, okay, $35 is a lot of money to be paying for these blades. And the reason why is because they last so long. I can go a good month on one blade. Okay, so that means I could probably go a year on a pack of razor blades, because I shave maybe every 3 days, 4 days. You know, I have nothing to live for, and I'm not going out on job interviews, and so it really you know that's why it's so expensive, because they know you're not going to buy a new set of blades for a year or so. So they got to make sure they make the money out of you now. But anyway, hi Patrick.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm super dandy.
You know, you joined our program at a good time, because we've been talking about lint traps and razor blades, and I think
That's what drew me to it immediately. I mean, I was scrambling to get out of the shower just so I could get to.
Oh boy, yes, Jeff.
So we have a good solution for the printers.
Yeah.
Our printer is downstairs, and we don't ever go downstairs at all for any reason.
Yeah.
So because of that, it's like, who the heck wants to use the printer? So we just use it less.
Well, but here's no, but you obviously it's an old printer, because with my printer, I can print from my iPad. I can print from any computer in the house. I can use I'm using the Wi-Fi to talk to the printer. So you can keep it in the basement. All you have to do is go down there every month and get the stuff you printed in the last month. You know?
What happens if your neighbor's Wi-Fi starts printing on your printer? You know, and then all of a sudden you get a bunch of stuff.
You know something? They probably could if they had the password, but they don't have the password.
Yeah. Well, they know that the password is usually password.
It's password. Yeah. Or password asterisk. Nobody's going to figure that one out. You know what I hate? What do I hate? I hate just about everything at this age. Today I did a great interview with Ronnie, and it didn't record.
Oh, no.
This other machine I got here, I'm having problems with it lately when I record video on it. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to redo it tomorrow. I'm going to use this machine here because this one I know
those interviews.
That one won't have a problem.
That's why I show you this view here.
Yeah, we see the ducks and everything, which are flying around, and that's nice. Oh, that's beautiful.
The golden hour.
Huh?
Looks like the golden hour.
Yeah. Everybody be quiet and let him just talk. Maybe I can just, maybe I can put this this picture on. Let me see here. Single.
Here we are.
There we go. Look
in the
at
beautiful shoreline aviation recreation area, where ducks are flying and geese are honking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And skunks are skunking.
Skunking.
Making
Boy, that looks gorgeous. That just looks wonderful.
Yes.
Kind of
this is a pond. That's a reflection of trees.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
And that is.
Thank you, Mr. Thoreau. We enjoy hearing.
You're so welcome.
We can.
Beautiful.
Wow, that's terrific. Yeah. That's really terrific. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a mosquito biting me on the nose. All right.
Yes, biting you on the nuts. Yeah. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. So Ronnie, I recorded her today, and then I went back and watched. It was only 6 minutes it recorded, and then it stopped recording for some reason. So I'm going to do it on this machine tomorrow. That machine's starting to get to me because it's been having problems recording. It never had problems recording the interviews before, but it has recently. And it could be there's something new in the program or whatever. Now, listen, I want to bring this up. First of all, I have two things to bring up. I don't know which one to bring up first. I'll bring this one up first. Trump is threatening to sue NBC Universal. Have you heard about this? Have you heard about this, Phil?
Why he didn't get his lynch wrap that he ordered?
Yeah, no. You know, he just write a tweet on that. Here we go. Now, to begin with, if it is my recollection, you can say anything about the President of the United States you want to say, and he can't sue you. But then again, he can say anything about you, and you can't sue him. In other words, I can say he rapes little babies, and there's nothing he can do about it. All right? On the other hand, he can say, I rape little babies, and there's nothing I can do about it. The president is immune from legal action, suit-wise. Federally, he may have some things he's culpable for, but while he's president, you can't sue him, and he can't sue you. And also, people who are in the public eye have less of a right to sue than other people, okay? Just because the more well-known you are, the less you have the ability to sue for libel and slander and things like that because you're in the public eye. But the president can't sue. Well, anyway, he's suing NBC Universal. Get this. personal attorney for Donald Trump warned executives of NBC Universal that legal proceedings could be pursued over a comment by MSNBC's Lawrence O'Donnell. The story reports that Trump's attorney, Charles Harder, that's quite a name, threatened NBC Universal with a defamation suit over a comment Tuesday on his broadcast in The Last Word with Lawrence O'Donnell. A demand letter from Harder also reportedly is concerned with a tweet from O'Donnell, which I'll read to you in a moment. It quotes Harder's demand letter saying the program and tweet make a false defamatory statements that Russian oligarchs co-signed loans provided to Mr. Trump by Deutsche Bank and describe these co-signers as Russian billionaires close to Vladimir Putin. O'Donnell followed up today with a tweet admitting he had erred. He wrote last night, "I made an error in judgment by reporting an item about the president's finances that didn't go through our rigorous verification and standards process. I shouldn't have reported it, as I was wrong to discuss it on the air. I will address the issue on my show tonight." Trump is certainly notorious for defamation threats, but this may be the first formal one from a sitting president. They never usually do that. Should Trump actually pursue defamation suit and it survive any initial First Amendment challenge, he'd subject himself to a discovery process months after the conclusion of the investigation by Robert Mueller, which Trump repeatedly characterized as a witch hunt. In other words, if he decided to sue, then there'd be a discovery process, and they could, bring him into court and ask him questions about his finances and whether any of this was true, and he doesn't want to do that. What O'Donnell wrote in his tweet was, a source close to Deutsche Bank says Trump's tax returns show that he pays very little income tax, and more importantly, that his loans have Russian co-signers. If true, it explains every kind word Trump has ever said about Russia and Putin. What do you people think? I mean, I don't think Trump can sue for this. He's president. He doesn't have that right. Phil, how do you
Patrick
feel?
got his hand up.
Oh, Patrick, you got your hand up?
Yeah, I think it's a moot point at this point. I mean, O'Donnell apologized, and he should have apologized anyway, just out of, if he was wrong, just add.
I don't know that what he did was actually apologizing, though.
Well, admitting a mistake.
Yeah, admitting that he hadn't vetted it.
Right, and that still goes, it's a mistake, because it's the same shit I deal with on Facebook with people putting memes out that have no sources. So at least O'Donnell admitted, whether it was a mistake or it wasn't, that he didn't go, it wasn't completely verified.
Well, it could still be true.
It could still be, but right now, until it goes through that process, it's not true.
Yeah.
So
I'm surprised, O'Donnell's a pretty upright guy in that he usually would vet something like this. But why he took it at face value, I have no idea. Yes, Phil.
Melania Trump sued, I think it was a magazine, and won a lot of money fairly recently. And then also, you look at some of these actors that are public figures, and they've sued and
they
won.
can sue, but their ability to win is mitigated by the fact of their popularity, is what I'm saying. But so far as the president is concerned, the president can't sue anybody. In fact, most politicians can't sue anybody.
They haven't, but I don't, I guess that's up to the court to decide whether they're going to take the case, right?
Yeah, but so far it's just, it's saber rattling right now.
Yeah, and most politicians can't afford to sue and get their own attorney until they get out of Congress
in this case,
and then they make all the millions.
In this case, I mean, does Trump really want to sue when he would then have to be deposed?
Yeah,
sure.
So
probably not. This is most likely saber rattling on his part, but Patrick.
Yes, Patrick.
Well, as for Melania, she's not an elected official.
No.
Yeah.
And if there was something wrong, just like with paparazzi dealing with famous people, they have sued and they've won. So it's on that same order. Trump or any other elected official, yeah, they don't have that right to sue until they're private citizens, I would imagine. And then if there's something that defamatory said about them or printed, they can pursue it. But would they win? Like Alex said, that probably even more difficult versus if I said something about one of you guys,
right,
that, us suing each other is a little bit more to the legal standard. So
yeah,
I think Trump is just being Trump and his lawyers, and I think drop it now because O'Donnell admitted that he shouldn't have said it on the air. So leave it be.
Yeah. Certainly, I don't think he apologized because of fear of being sued, but I think he apologized because he felt he didn't vet it well enough, and that he should say that and tell his audience that. I mean, O'Donnell, compared to a lot of other people, is a pretty stand-up guy, and I think he found this maybe didn't fit in his idea of fairness. Okay, so what the hell? But I just thought that was an interesting story because presidents just don't sue anybody because they really can't.
His common thing is to sue people. So maybe
to threaten to sue people. He very seldom ever sues people. I mean, like remember Bill Maher when he said that he was the son of an orangutan, and then they showed a picture of an orangutan and a picture of Trump, and they look remarkably alike. Okay, and he threatened. He sent a cease and desist or something like that to him, and said, "We're going to sue you for saying that." Well, he wasn't president yet at the time, was he? I think he was still running or whatever. But so I think Maher did some kind of an apology it was almost worse than if he hadn't apologized, because what he was saying was, no, I have to take it all back. Donald Trump isn't the son of an orangutan. So, you're only doubling down on your joke. But good. I was very amused by that. But yes, you've got your hand up in the dark, so we can't. Ray?
Yeah. Hey, isn't O'Donnell's the guy that Trump and they've been fighting for a couple of years, right? Trump kicking him out of the White House and all that.
Who?
Same guy?
Kicked O'Donnell?
Chris O'Donnell?
No.
I don't think he kicked O'Donnell out.
No, O'Donnell.
You mean a newscaster? No.
Yeah, I got
was a
him mixed
CNN guy.
O'Donnell was
okay.
Lawrence O'Donnell, I believe, was the press secretary to Bill Clinton.
Okay, I got him mixed.
I think
up
so.
with
Am I
the other
right,
guy,
Charlie?
With the CNN guy.
So, Charlie, am I
Chris
right?
O'Donnell or something.
Lawrence O'Donnell was the vice president. Was Clinton's press secretary at one point.
No, I was thinking of the guy from CNN who Trump kicked out of the press room.
No.
Chris O'Donnell, I think is his name.
No. But anyway,
Okay,
Lawrence O'Donnell later went on, oddly enough, to be a writer on the West Wing.
West Wing, yeah.
And at one point played the president's father in a flashback. So anyway, and in fact, a couple of people from Clinton's administration. Who was the woman who was his press secretary? Dee Dee Myers was one of the consultants on that show, and wrote some episodes as well. Helped write some episodes, since Aaron Sorkin, I think, wrote every episode except one, or at least he had a co-writing credit on some. But whatever.
Hey, Alex.
Yes.
Can it be possible that maybe the walls are closing in on Trump?
Well, I don't know if they're closing in on Trump. I think Trump's closing in on Trump. I mean, even Phil, don't you even feel that Trump's acting a little erratic lately?
Nah, I just think it's the news that is slanting anything he says. I seem to
No,
understand
but it isn't
what he says and how he says it.
You're the.
Because I'm not looking for something
You're
negative.
you're the Trump talker. Oh, what happened? You've been removed from the call by another participant. Oh God, who did this? Who did this? One of you hung up on me and called the. Let me see here. Join. Will this work? Will this get everybody back? Yeah, this will get everybody back. Yeah. Who just hung up on me?
No one. You hung up on us.
No, I didn't. Somebody hung up on me, and that made the whole call fail. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you? Oh, yeah. There is a way to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you want,
I don't think anyone did it because.
Well, somebody did it because all of a sudden I got a notification here that you've been removed from this call.
Well, I've been playing with nuts this whole time, so
You've been playing with your nuts this whole time?
Clicking again.
Anybody else click? Anybody? Is anybody else?
I haven't touched mine.
Okay, well, who knows why it happened? I did figure out how to get everybody back, though. I simply got to join back, and I got everybody back. It's ridiculous. Yeah, this is the new. This is the new improved Skype, right? The only thing that's improved about it is that once I learned how to use this NDI and could put everybody's picture individually in, independent of the Skype picture, it really works nicely. That aspect of it. But the rest of Skype is the biggest clusterfuck. I mean, it just, don't touch anything. Don't touch anything.
Well,
don't. But somebody said to Skype, I don't want Alex on anymore. Got rid of me. I don't know how. By the way, tonight I have another Skype line, and it's hooked up to my Echo. I have to, I got a prank call from some woman, but I didn't pick up on it because it was called like Precious Dolly or something like that. I can't remember what her name was.
Did you pocket dial me this afternoon on Skype?
No.
No? Okay, because I got a call from you.
You did?
And then it was immediate hang up.
Well, I was fooling around with Skype a little bit. Maybe somehow I hit the wrong button or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was just testing the system so I could do Ronnie tomorrow. I was moving back and forth between two accounts, so that may have been the reason why. Yeah. Okay, another story here. And again, I want to ask you this because is this fair? Okay. 3 days after he was arrested, the general counsel for the Motion Picture Association of America was fired by the organization. Deadline has reported that the group axed Steve Fabrizio following his arrest by police in the District of Columbia for an alleged sexual assault and attempt to blackmail. What is that?
Who's that?
That was Charlie's phone.
To blackmail a woman who he met on an online dating site. In a letter Monday, the board of the group, which represents Disney, Netflix, Paramount, Sony, Universal, and Warner Brothers, that means everybody, the MPAA, CEO Charles Rivkin is quoted as writing, "This is to inform you that Steve Fabrizio's employment with the MPAA has ended for violating certain terms of employment. The organization, he was the organization's top in-house attorney, and he was reportedly charged on August 24th. Rivkin informed the board that he asked Daniel Robbins, Fabrizio's former deputy, to be interim general counsel until a permanent replacement can be found. He had reportedly held the job for the past 6 years. Now, here's my question. Yes, I know he's been charged with sexual assault. He's also been charged with blackmailing a woman. But he hasn't been found guilty. Should they fire him? Or should they put him on suspension?
That would be my suggestion. is suspension, because charging is pretty severe.
Mm-hmm.
That's some bad shit. But if you're not convicted yet, I don't see why you should lose your job. So yeah, suspension I think would be reasonable.
Yeah.
He's an attorney.
Yeah.
And now attorneys, I don't know if they have some special deal where they can't practice, or there's some issue when you're accused of these kinds of crimes.
Yeah, but you're not
moral turpitude.
You're not thrown off the bar. You're maybe suspended from the bar or whatever, but you're not. But here, the MPAA just outright fired this guy. Now, I got news for you. I mean, he may be he may have sexually assaulted a woman, and he may have blackmailed her. But until that can be proven in a court of law, you can't take that to the bank.
That was an expensive date.
It was a very expensive date.
His career.
So I mean, this happens a lot lately, though. These people suddenly somebody just gets accused of something, or they're indicted for something, but that doesn't mean you're guilty. It means there's enough proof to indict you. But there's got to be a trial so they can find out if it's all true or not, and you have the right to defend yourself. But he doesn't have a right to defend himself to the MPAA, does he?
I don't know. You also have a right to face your accuser.
Well, yes and no. A lot of times today, these women who make these charges, there's a thing where they're trying to protect the victim. And so they don't have to face their accuser. I mean,
years ago, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Years ago, they didn't even put people's names in the newspaper. If someone was accused of a crime, it stayed private until there was a conviction. And you remember?
Well, here's what happens in England. Somebody's accused of something, murder, let's say. I don't know what they call them, but the attorney for the crown or whatever, whoever, the
barrister.
The person who's the equivalent of a district attorney.
I think they call them barristers.
Gets in front of the press and says, "We have arrested so and so, and we are charging him with first-degree murder." That's the last thing the government ever says about them. There are no more press conferences. There's nothing else, and then the press is admonished if they try it in the press. But to here, we not only try things in the press, we just make insinuations in the press. Louis C.K. wasn't found guilty of anything, but do you think he's got a contract now with Fox to make TV shows? No. And all he did was he said, the story's true, but I'm sorry, and it was meant as a joke. I don't know when I would ever refer to my penis as a joke, but I mean, yes, Phil.
When you said England, UK, it reminded me of a story today that the Parliament has been suspended in the UK so that they can't throw a monkey wrench into the Brexit departure.
Yes.
And I guess they're suspended till the mid-October.
And the Queen approved it.
Yeah, they said it was a formality that Queen would always approve a request from the Prime Minister, I guess.
Yeah, so what he's doing is he's preventing the Parliament from fighting Brexit or making a deal on Brexit. Yes, Jeff?
Was the fellow who's
Johnson
potentially going to court, okay? And you said he was an attorney. Was he acting as an attorney for this company?
For the MPAA, yes. He was the lead attorney.
Oh, then that's why they really can't keep them working.
Well, yeah, but I think that...
But I didn't say that he has to be permanently fired.
You put him on a paid leave or something like that.
Yeah.
You suspend him with pay because you're not... Then once he's found guilty, goodbye, see you later. You're not going to be part of this company. Yeah.
They probably doesn't want the hint of impropriety.
Yeah.
It could weaken their position for other things, and they just say, hey, you got involved in something, and good luck to you.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's just too much of this is happening now, where people are simply accused of something and all of a sudden they're not working anymore. I mean, you can be the host of a game show, and if some woman accuses you of having slapped her on the ass, next thing you know, you got a new host for that game show.
How did that guy Dobson always get away with kissing those women on that game show?
Dobson?
Yeah, Dobson.
Dawson. Oh, because he was
Richard Dawson.
Richard Dawson. That's because he was a lecher.
That was the old days.
Yeah, he was a lecher.
That was the 80s.
Yeah, that's when you could pat a woman on the ass. You remember those days when you could pat a woman on the ass? Now today,
no, it still hurts when they hit you back.
Yeah, well, that I don't think in my entire life I ever patted a woman on her ass. Anybody else here done that ever? No. Did you ever grab them by the pussy? Did you ever grab them by the pussy? Well, I have grabbed them by the pussy, but we were in bed together and we were making love. But I mean, but I don't know. Do people? I remember my ex-wife Ronnie. We were in Italy, and she had to mail a letter or something. So I sent her into a railway station where they had a post office, and I waited outside in the car. And she came back and she said, that was the most painful experience of my life. I said, well, why? She says, I walked through the railroad station and I must have gotten my ass pinched 25, 30 times. And when we got back to the hotel, her ass had bruises on it from all the pinching, because this is what Italian guys do. Now, I don't know if they do it anymore. Do they have the Me Too movement over there?
Yeah, let me pat her too.
Yeah, let me pat her too. Yeah, but back then it was supposed to be a compliment. Yeah.
Kind of the same compliment you get when a construction worker whistles at you when you're walking past it. Well, not me, but a woman.
Was it Marjorie that said to me? She said, "I didn't like it when they used to whistle at me when I was walking down the street. Now it kind of bothers me that they don't." Yeah. Those days of whistling. I was talking to Ronnie today in the interview that you won't hear, but maybe we can recreate it when I do it with her tomorrow. About when I was a kid, and I was into superheroes. Well, let me ask you guys: you when you were younger, did you want any superhero powers at all?
Oh, I did.
What would you want?
Yes, hell yes.
I would love to be Spider-Man. I would love to climb the walls.
You'd love to climb the walls?
Yeah. I would like to. Yeah.
Well, not those walls, though. Those walls you've got make you climb the walls.
That's true. Yeah.
Ray, what did you want?
Oh yeah, I always had this dream. I used to dream it. I used to fantasize that I was invisible.
Yeah.
And I could take sports cars, Ferraris, drive them around. Nobody would know it was me. It was awesome.
Yeah. Invisibility.
Either that, or I could make everybody I could make the whole world fall asleep, and I could do whatever I wanted for as long as I wanted to, and then make them wake up.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. My desire was to have the power of invisibility, and now that I'm the age I am, I have it.
You do.
See,
I'm totally
I used to
dream that I could fly.
Yeah, but I'm
just by moving my arms.
Well, flying's a very common dream. But the thing is that I just, I'm totally invisible to the rest of the world. People don't notice me anymore when I walk down the street,
Welcome to the club.
Huh? I've got
welcome to the club.
Yeah, well, we've got the cloak of invisibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right on.
See,
but
my
Alex,
superhero.
It must be poignantly. It must be different for you, Alex, in that you had a degree of celebrity at one time, and now people don't. That must be really weird.
What?
That must be
still does.
I don't know.
No, you still do.
I don't.
No, you still do, but I mean, you know what I mean. Like you're on national radio for so long and everything.
Yeah, but that part doesn't bother me, oddly enough, because it never impressed me when I had it. So
okay.
I don't really miss it, that part of it. I guess what I do miss are some of the perks, It's funny when I was a big shot in San Francisco. I would go into a restaurant, and I was well known enough that if I walked into a restaurant in San Francisco, heads would turn and look at me as I walked in because I was, hey, look, there's Alex Bennett. I'm not saying this to seem important. I'm saying this to make a point. And I would have the owner of a restaurant go when it came time to pay the check, oh, no, it's on us. And I would say to them, no, it's not on you. It's on me. I'm going to pay for it. There's no reason why it should be on you. I said, but if you want to do a really solid thing, I'll pay for this meal now. But you remember this. And one day somebody's going to come in here when they don't have any money. And who knows, it might even be me. And then you give them a free meal.
Pay it forward.
Because
well, you know why
I can pay for it, Huh?
You know why they recognized you? You were on billboards. You were on buses.
I was also on TV too, in San Francisco.
Pardon me?
I was also on
television,
TV.
Channel 9.
Yeah, TV.
Well, I was on Channel 9, but 40, I was also
36 or 44.
44, and I was on
20.
20, and then I wound up doing that show that I got the
comedy.
No, the Login TV, which was the thing I won the Emmy for.
Oh, right.
So I mean, people knew what I looked like, and it was an image that was burned forever in their brain. But it was always amazing to me that people who can afford stuff gets more stuff for free than people who can't. I would get all kinds of free stuff. They would send stuff over to the station. Hey, listen, Apple gave me a Macintosh. Hey, you're Alex Bennett. Here, have a Macintosh. We want you to see what it's like.
That's a good perk.
Well,
Billy Martin,
the bad news on that one was it was the Mac they were making when what's his name, the guy from Pepsi Cola, was running the company, and it was the worst piece of shit. I opened it up to see what made it work, and they actually, as insulation, had tin foil. That's how cheap that Apple was. It was a terrible machine. It was just. Do you remember that one at all, Ray?
Which one, Alex? What did you say?
The really bad Mac, when they were making bad Macs.
Oh,
was that the Mac that was colorful?
Mac and
no.
There was a time when they were making terrible machines, and they were even having third parties do everything.
Clones.
Well, they were letting.
Yeah, they were terrible.
They were letting.
There was a time when they were. Yeah.
There was a time when they let third parties make them if they wanted to. But this was an Apple Mac, okay?
Oh, okay.
And it was just ghastly. I never used the thing. When I did use it, I think it was as a planter. I mean, it was that bad.
Yeah. Now, there were machines like the Lisa and the Next.
That was before this. That was before this. Yeah, I there was a Next at Live 105. They bought a Next because
those were nice.
Well, what happened was the time they started slowly delivering commercials to radio stations over telephone lines where they would send you the file. And the one company that was doing this required that you had a Next computer. So they had a Next computer there. But the Next didn't really do much of anything. It wasn't a big whoop.
There was also a Lisa.
There wasn't enough software for the Next.
There wasn't enough software, and it was it was a very expensive machine. I mean, they ran like $10,000 or something like that. They were very expensive.
It looked nice.
Huh? Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, Steve Jobs was a great furniture salesman.
Yeah.
And what was it? but this one they sent me was it was horrible. It was just ghastly. And I wasn't a Mac guy until I started using Final Cut Pro for some editing that I had to do for somebody else. And then I said, this is not bad. You know, it's pretty good. You know, and it was a great graphics machine. So that's what I've been using ever since. That's what I'm using here. You know, and the one that they kept breaking down on me over here is the PC. You know, so
that's pretty old. I mean, how many years is that? You got it used, that PC.
No, but this PC works fine. This PC is peppy, but for some reason, OBS Studio is crapping out on me on it, and I don't know why. It could be something with OBS Studio. You know,
I find that PCs don't last as long. They bog down. I have a MacBook Pro that's from 2010 that still works great.
I have a Mac in the other room that's from 2010, and what I'm thinking of doing is replacing the display card in it to something that will run a thing called Metal, and then I'll be able to install Mojave in it. And this thing will have a real peppy CPU, and I can use it as an alternative machine to this one. And those old Mac Pros are redoable. I mean, you can put in more memory, and you can put in a new CPU in it, and you can do all kinds of things with them because they're very modular. And there are people who've restored them, and they're almost as good as the trash can.
The new Mac Pro, which I'm not sure if it's out yet, and it's so expensive. But I think that you can do those same kind of things with it. That
not to the same extent you can do with the old cheese grater. No.
The cheese grater is one of the most beautiful computers.
Well, because it was all very modular. You can put in hard drives. I like the idea of the hard drives rather than the flash memory. But you know what I found the other day? This is really just a killer. You know, flash memory is not it's not a hard drive. It's solid state drive. It's solid state memory, and the trouble is that they're really they're expensive. All right.
Yeah.
Get this. Oh, this sold out already. It's sold out status. Micron 4 terabyte solid state drive. That's pretty huge, isn't it?
Internal or external?
Internal.
Internal. Wow.
Yeah. Do you know how much they were selling it for? That's why it sold out. $360.
Wow.
$360.
Jeez.
And I
wonder if it would fit in the Mac Pro.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, of course it will. It fits in the same slot that a hard drive would. And you just mount it on the tray and put it in there, and you're good to go. And you throw one of those in there, and now you got a really peppy machine going for you.
No, I'm talking about the trash can. You know.
Oh, the trash can? No, you can't put those in the trash can. I mean, there is one in there, but I don't think it's not that configuration. No. So but this is.
Ray's got his hand up.
Yes,
it's hard to see because he's in the dark.
Yes,
Sorry.
Ray.
I was just curious. Do you know what they use to edit, high budget feature films? These Macs,
Well, you can use their PCs to do it. You know, I mean, it's just a question of the power you need to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and the new Macs, the Mac Pro they're coming out with, probably a motion picture company would be the kind of person that would buy it and be able to afford it, and they could max it out and have a very powerful machine to cut films with. You know, I can do movies with this. I find that the trash can is quite peppy. It's got a lot of power to it. And
I bought my trash can from a guy that made movies with it, and now he's got like a $14,000 PC. I think I sent you his configuration.
Yeah.
Alex.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful, and it's a PC.
Yeah. But you can edit films with it. You know.
The problem with the PC is I don't think you can use Final Cut on it. Right.
The PC, you can't use Final Cut. You can use Adobe. I use Adobe Premiere quite often.
Yeah, that's what I use.
I find Adobe Premiere to be a little bit peppier, you know.
Okay.
In just doing it. But I like Final Cut Pro. I just think it's a really swell program, you know.
Yeah.
And the Final Cut Pro for everybody is a video editing program that Apple makes. When they first brought it out, it was terrific, and then they brought out the new one, and it sucked. But slowly they've kept improving it, and now it's pretty much the standard of the industry again.
Didn't they get rid of that? I thought there was some video editing program that many people used. Something, it might have been something 10, but I thought that's gone. Or is it the Final Cut Pro?
No, Final Cut Pro X is the successor to Final Cut Pro. And this is more of a digital program, and it's a very good program, you know. But it was terrible when it first came out. People hated it. But once they got used to it, and once it got used to the audience that it was playing to, and they improved it, it became the standard of the industry again. You know.
Yeah. About 20 years ago, I did a short film with this guy who started this little film company. His name was Michael Wall, and he was the guy who designed the initial Final Cut Pro.
Yeah.
And he made so much money, he just quit working and just was doing whatever he felt like. He was like 30 years old, 35.
Yeah. Well, but you know, I actually probably should try and get some editing jobs or something. Marjorie sent me a thing where some woman needed a video editor, and then I found out what she did for a living, and she's a pit bull advocate, and wanted you to edit videos of pit bulls, and I went, I don't know. You know?
A lot of people feel that pit bulls get a bad rap.
Yeah, that's her whole take. Yeah, some people tell me the pit bulls are very loving animals. It's just a couple of them every now and then snap, and then your baby doesn't have his head anymore.
It's the people that train them, and make them fighting dogs.
If you go on Live Leak, on the must see, like a few days ago, there's this pit bull looking at a bird on the fence, and it looks like he's just sniffing it and kind of playing, and people are going, oh, how cute, and all of a sudden the dog just goes and just eats the bird and swallows the whole thing, like wow. This pit bull in a split second, like, and then everyone was screaming, and
if I had a little kid, I wouldn't want him around her around the pit bull. You know, I think there are some breeds that are just not trustworthy. There was a thing in San Francisco where this woman, her dog, it was some crazy breed, and it attacked she was a soccer coach at St. Mary's College and killed her in the lobby of her apartment. It was in Pacific Heights.
That was that was a huge thing out here. Remember that, Bill?
Yeah.
It was one of those.
I don't think that breed is allowed to be sold in this
country. No. It's like a pit bull, but it's 2 or 3 times as large, and they actually had some kind of sexual relationship with the dog, which is why the dog was protected. Remember that?
No, well, I didn't remember the sexual thing.
But... Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The people in that apartment.
The woman was an attorney. Her husband was an attorney, and the other woman was a gay woman who was a soccer coach at St. Mary's College.
And the whole thing was that the 2 attorneys used to have sex with the dog, and the dog would protect the people, protect them when they felt like they were being threatened, because the dog was like this
dog
was disgusting.
Yeah, it was. Do you remember the name of that breed?
Yeah, it's on the tip of my tongue. I'll think of it in a second. Yeah.
Do you remember that, Alex? Were you here when that happened?
I think Alex was here.
No.
Or maybe you were in Florida or something. I don't know.
Well, anyway,
I thought you were here.
Yeah. My latest impression is, somewhere along the line I put on 10 pounds. Wow. And so I went on a diet, 9 pounds. And I went back on the diet stringently. And I can't lose. I can't lose it. Huh?
just a plateau. If you keep it up, it'll eventually.
Yeah, I mean, but it's driving me crazy. I got on the scale the other day, and I was down two pounds. I went, good, I'm on my way. And all of a sudden, the next day, I was up 1, and today I was up where I was before. And I went, but wait a minute, I've been stringently on this diet. So what's happening here? Do I look fat to you?
No.
No, you're in a little circle.
Look at me. Look at me. I'll stand up. Do I look fat? No.
No.
I wouldn't go on the scale as much because I think sometimes when you look at the scale, it starts getting into your mind.
Yeah.
It's like the doctors. How do you feel?
Yeah. Well, I feel fat.
I'm feeling really good on this plant-based diet.
Yeah.
I actually look forward to juicing, and I'm having one small meal a day. And I just drink juice the rest of the day, and I really like it.
So someone coming in your mouth wouldn't be a problem for you, huh?
What the hell?
Where did you come up with that one?
I don't know. But so I don't look fat to you guys. I don't look fat to you guys, right? Okay.
I don't see any difference.
Yeah.
If they tasted like spinach and broccoli, it wouldn't be.
I'm still at the weight I'm at. I've lost over 45 pounds, so I'm fine. Wow. Well, anyway, I'm going to take 2 days off. I don't know why, but it's a Labor Day weekend. Get that out of the way. See, we don't have Jerry Lewis anymore.
I miss the telethon. I used to like it.
I miss the telethon too. I missed it. I told you about the year that he actually sang "You'll Never Walk Alone" for me.
Yeah.
I used to cry at that song.
And because it wasn't really me that he said directly, but he said this is for that disc jockey in New York, and I knew that we had some kind of communication with him over something I had said about him, in which I said that he wasn't. I really couldn't stand him, but as a performer, but as a decent person, he's done a really nice job with muscular dystrophy. And so he said, I'm going to sing the song now, and I hope it's good enough for that disc jockey in New York City. And I looked at the people in the room and I went, he just dedicated that song to me. Because we had sent him a letter, because you had to send a letter in those days if you said something about something. It was called equal time, or fair reply. The fairness doctrine is fair reply. And so you would say, well, Alex said this about you. If you would like to reply, please contact us. So we knew he had gotten that letter. And they were sending out those letters all the time because they had been popped by somebody once for not doing it. So they were super sensitive about it. And the fact that I had said this about Jerry Lewis, they felt they had to write him a letter and say, Mr. Lewis, Mr. Bennett said, blah, 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 blah. So,
know how you could fix the post office?
How's that?
If CNN had to do that every time they said something about Trump, they would have so many letters going out. The post office would be, in the money.
But you don't have to do it for the President of the United States because he can't sue.
True.
He hasn't got the right to say, hey, fairness doctrine, I've got to have equal time for reply.
So let me ask you this.
What?
If you know how Jerry Lewis had muscular dystrophy and other celebrities had other types of diseases that they would get behind.
Yeah.
What disease would you get behind if you had if you could pick one?
I think syphilis. I think without a question syphilis. Either that or gonorrhea. Gonorrhea would be better because then I could go on there and we call it the clapathon.
You just reminded me of something. Joe Walsh is breaking up the Eagles and running for president against Trump. I know.
Yeah.
It's another Joe Walsh.
I know. But, you can always hope.
Yeah.
I would have a diarrhea-thon.
A diarrhea-thon? Very good.
Yeah.
That's
and in the middle, we can run it for Imodium.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a crappy idea.
Very good.
And then anytime, that was a crappy idea.
Anyway,
anytime you could run up, excuse me, I gotta go.
I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We'll probably see you again next week. Jeff, thank you so much for being here. Ray, thank you, even though you're in the dark. It got dark while you were doing this, but we got a very nice sunset that we had pictures of. Phil, thank you. You've been very good, Phil. Very good. Thank you.
I know how to do it.
You know how to do it. You know exactly how to do it. Patrick, thank you. Appreciate it. And Charlie, always good to have you here. And of course, Tony, that hideous wallpaper has got to go. Anyway, everybody, would you please? I turned down the music. Everybody, wave a goodbye, and I will wave back. Okay. All righty. Bye bye, everybody. Okay, there they go. That's our citizen panel for tonight. I don't know how I got hung up on that's being hung up on your own program is an insult, but maybe it was well deserved. Anyway, we're off tomorrow night. We're off on Friday. We're off on Monday, but we'll be back on Tuesday with the Ramble. The Intersection is next with Jack Bishop, and you stick around. Call him. He really, really has a good show. And then Damien will be back here on Tuesday at 9:30. And I got to tell you, Damien's show is very interesting. If you get a chance to listen to it, I know maybe you can't listen to it live, but listen to it on the internet, because it's really a terrific show. I really enjoy it every night when I hear it. Anyway, that's it. I'll see you at 10 o'clock Tuesday. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.